3 lifelong friends, 6 trusty balls, and endless NFL takes. Welcome to 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL podcast.
Welcome to episode 42 of 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL podcast. I'm your host, Joel. I'm here with my co-host, Will, today. Avery is not with us once again. He will also not be with us next week. But next week, we will be having a guest on our show. We'll have Brennan from Cheeseheads and the Bear podcast on, and possibly his co-host as well. I'm not sure yet, but we'll at least have Brennan on here with us. How you doing today, Will?
I am doing well. We are recording on December 23rd, and Merry Christmas, everybody. As a show note, you already know this. I also may not be here next week. Depends on travels. But yeah, I'm doing very well. This is the best time of the year for so many reasons. Just so many. Sports, a lot of them, but a lot of others too, I'm sure. How are you, Joel?
Yeah, I'm doing great. My kids are happy. My kids are excited. It's almost Christmas. That makes me excited. So, and you can see we've got, for those of you who are watching the episode, we have this great Christmas card right here. That makes me excited. I don't know about you, Will. And Will has this great Christmas sweater showing this man's lovely nipples.
It's Santa Claus riding on Rudolph. And listen, the balance, I think is what it is. The white balance is off. He is wearing a silver candy cane chain. I'm going to pull the camera back up to my face here in a second. But the longer you stare at this, let me tell you, I'm going to wear this to work tomorrow. The longer you stare at it, just the worse it gets. It gets so bad. It's terrible. And I should definitely not be wearing it to work. But here we go.
Well, I just realized
like 9 years in a row.
I just realized I'm off to a rough start here. I didn't even have my microphone in front of me until you were just talking just then. So I don't know if that had anything to do with me being delayed on your side, Will, but it wasn't there until just now. So there's that.
Should be all good.
All right. Well, to get things going here, I've got my Christmas question for you. So today's Christmas question is, who is your favorite Christmas character? It could be an animated character. It could be a character from a live action movie, but just who is your favorite Christmas character?
I feel like the obvious answer should be Jesus Christ, right? Like sweet little baby Jesus.
Okay. That's fair.
Is that not? That's not what you meant. I feel that that's not what you meant. Got it. Okay. It's gotta be. If we're talking media only, not talking biblical. Man, I don't know. Favorite Christmas character.
Do you need me to go first?
I think I do. Yeah.
Okay. My favorite Christmas character is from the Santa Claus movies. It's Scott Calvin.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up watching.
Yeah.
I grew up watching those movies. I just think he's such a great character.
This is a bit of a deep cut, and maybe people don't know this as much, but the 1964 version of the Grinch, I think it's 64, 1960s version of the Grinch that Burl Ives, shoot, I'm going to get all these names wrong. Oh, excuse me. The 1966 version of the Grinch, narrated by, I do believe, Boris Karloff. Excuse me, Burl Ives. That is not the right guy. Narrated by the 1966 version of the Grinch, narrated by Boris Karloff. The dog Max. The dog Max in that movie, it's 30 minutes long. We watch it every Christmas Eve. The dog Max in that movie has so much character and so much sass, 0 speaking lines. But he does this little wave thing. I have seen it every year for like 30 years now. It makes me laugh every year. And just that the sass that this dog has for a movie that came out in the 60s, it's not fair that he has so much character as just an animal. But I do believe that Max is my favorite.
I don't know if I've even actually seen that one.
You should.
Okay.
You should. Yep.
Okay.
I don't even know what else to say besides you should.
You said it's 30 minutes long?
I don't even think it's 30 minutes long. If you have Peacock, then that's where it's at. And I can tell you in just a second how long it is. It's 25 minutes long. Excuse me.
Okay. I'll check it out.
So at our house, that's like the last thing we do right before bed. Yeah. It's
cool.
We're getting the kids ready. We're in our Christmas pajamas. We watch this movie and then we go to sleep. Like that's what we do. It gets us ready for Santa Claus to show up.
All right. So this week we are not going to do Will's weekly recap because I have a NFL version of Twas the Night Before Christmas that I am excited to share with you guys. Now, it does have somewhat of a recap in there. It does have some things from last week of the NFL, but basically what I tried to do is I tried to get some sort of reference to every single NFL team in this story. So I don't directly say every single name of the teams, but there is some sort of reference to every single NFL team in this NFL version of Twas the Night Before Christmas. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I actually have a slideshow that goes along with the story. So if you guys are listening, if you want to go watch it on YouTube, I will also try to post this on social media for you guys as well. So let me just get my screen up here real quick. All right, Will, can you see this?
I can see it now.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. You ready for this? I'm excited.
Yes, I am. I'm excited.
Here we go. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the league, 10 NFL teams had their playoff spots guaranteed. There's still 4 playoff spots left to take, but the Bucs' offensive play calling is so bad that not even Baker can bake. The Chicago Bears clinched a playoff spot this past Sunday, leaving their NFC North rivals saying words they shouldn't say. The Cowboys' playoffs hopes were already near, but an Eagles' Week 16 win had Dallas fans once again saying, "There's always next year." The Eagles still think they're winning the Super Bowl, but this year they're just getting a lump of coal. The Seahawks now control the NFC 1 seed after a 2-point conversion Rams fans just could not believe. Liam Cohen has the Jags offense flowing, while Trevor Lawrence's hair just keeps on glowing. And speaking of hair, Mark Davis has the worst, and maybe that's the reason the Raiders are cursed. Aaron Rodgers is old, he's just doing this for fun, but he's playing well enough that the Ravens are done. The haters will say Shedeur Sanders sucks, but Kevin Stefanski needs to be on the next bus. The Jets have now missed the playoffs for the 15th straight year, but they've got the Colts' next 2 first-round picks, so cheers. Josh Allen is in the playoffs again this year, and this time he'll say, "Thank goodness Mahomes isn't here." For the NFL teams that missed the playoffs this year was a whiff, and maybe they'll tank again next year for Jeremiah Smith. Now McCaffrey, now Gibbs, now Achane, now Robinson, they're the best running backs in the league. There's just no stopping them. We hope you win your fantasy championships, but hey, if you don't, at least you avoided the last place punishments. There's only 2 more weeks left in the regular season, and NFL fans just keep on believing. Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, and Bo Nix, they're all hoping they can win their first championship. But Drake May has the Patriots' future looking bright. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Very nice. That was
Thank
good.
you.
That was good.
Well, that's our weekly recap, I guess you could say. So let's get into the topics for today. Will, I have a question for you to start off here.
Okay.
So the Rams play the Falcons on Monday Night Football this week. My question for you is, which team wants to win more, the Rams or the Falcons? And the reason I ask that is because the Rams hold the Falcons' first-round pick. And so do the Falcons want to win more so that the Rams have a worse pick? Or do the Rams want to win more so that they have a better pick?
Well, the answer is the Rams, right? Because they still, even though it's slim, they still have a shot to win the number 1 seed. So they are still actually playing for something.
Let's just put the rankings and the seeds and all that aside. Just strictly based off of draft position. Which team wants to win more, the Rams or the Falcons?
Okay. Well, the Rams for sure, because if we beat these guys, then we get a better pick, right? I don't think the Falcons are thinking about, well, they have our pick, and let's get them a worse pick. Because at this point, that pick is so far out of their mind. Because the Rams are like, hey, you know what? We have their pick. Let's make sure to beat them as bad as we can, and hopefully maybe knock them down into the lower spot. I don't know what their current draft position is. 10, 9, something like that?
I want to say
11, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's 11, yeah. That can obviously change. The Saints are getting hot right now. Good for them, I guess. It's got to be the Rams. They want to get that hopefully a deep playoff run for the Rams, and then also a top 10 pick. That's just not fair.
Yeah, I'll just say that that was just such a stupid trade by the Falcons to do that. I don't even remember who they picked, but it doesn't even matter. It was such a dumb trade. I don't understand why they traded a first-round pick. I don't understand what the Falcons are doing there, but they did it. So good for the Rams.
Okay, hold on. I have a question for you. This is a bit of a leading question. I need you to answer it, not in a specific way, but I think you are the guy to answer this question because it got brought up a bit in your recap. What does it mean to be in a contract year? What does that mean? Like we describe, X player is in a contract year. What does that usually mean for the player themselves? Let me pose it that way. let's just take a random player. This is not the case, but let's say, okay, this is the case. Next year, Devontae Adams is going to be in a contract year. What does that mean
Right.
for Devontae Adams next year?
That means he's going to ball out and then get paid a lot of money, and then the next year suck after that.
I mean, that's fine, right? So, but usually when you're in a contract year, it means that you should be doing everything you can to establish why you should get your next contract, correct?
Right.
Okay, now that we've established that, you brought it up in your recap, the Rams 2-point conversion, and that was just on Thursday night. There were so many throughout the weekend where I'm huge on not complaining about officiating. I'm huge on, you know what, they're humans, they're this, they're that, whatever. The referee contract for all of them, the CBA, their bargaining agreement, is up at the end of this season. They have to renegotiate with the NFL. And so right now, the referees are in a contract year. And if anybody remembers, way back when, I want to say 2009, I think, is when we had the replacement refs. And replacement refs makes everybody cringe. That's where we had the Fail Mary, Packers, Seahawks, that whole thing. That is what we're staring at right now. These referees are in their contract year. We are staring down the barrel of them having to renegotiate their whole deal, where they pretty much get all the power. I mean, they get whatever they want, basically, because what are you going to do? Go back to those guys again? You've seen this before. So what do you think? What do you think is the real cause of, now that we're, and it's seemingly getting worse towards the end of the season? I know this isn't a topic we had to talk about, but with all the real recent bad calls, I mean, good, bad, or indifferent, the imbalance of penalty calls in the Falcons-Buccaneers game this weekend. The Falcons had 19 thrown penalties. The Buccaneers had 4. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, that is something to look at. Like, wow, that's a huge imbalance. What are we doing here? Why is this? Because it's not like either team was actually committing more penalties than the other. They commit equal amount of penalties. And that's going to offend a lot of people. Every team has a penalty on every play. That's just the way it is. It just depends on what they call it. What do you think is a cause here? Or what do you think the NFL should do? Or what do you think? I want your take on the refereeing and officiating this year.
The referees have been awful this year. And to me, it seems like they've been worse than they have been in the past. And I know there's been bad calls in the past, but this year, just maybe I'm looking for it more, but they just seem like they've been a lot worse this year than they have been. One thing I've never understood is, like, I understand that you don't want to slow down the game and you don't want to have to, review every single play and review this and review that. But what I don't understand is, why can't the NFL just have somebody or multiple people that can get together and call into the refs when they get the call wrong? Like, I know they do that on some plays. I know, but they only do it sometimes. That's the problem. They only do it sometimes. There are only certain times when they are allowed to do that. There are still calls that they get wrong where I'm like, NFL, step in here. Step in. What are you doing? Don't let them just get this call wrong. Step in. But they only do it sometimes. And I don't understand why they only do it sometimes and not other times. If you want to get the games right, if you want to have the correct calls in every game, just step in when you need to every single time. Don't just wait for some random moment in the game where you feel like you need to step in. You should step in every single time that the call is wrong. Every single time. Don't wait for some random time in the game. Every single time the call is wrong, you need to step in and tell the referees, you got the call wrong. Here's the actual correct call.
Yeah, and it feels bad as a fan, from a fan's perspective, of, like, at the end of that Lions-Steelers game. They talked about that for like 3 minutes. We just sat there and waited as the game was over for 3 minutes. And it's wildly inconsistent, because earlier in the season, Jalen Hurts got the ball stripped from his hands on a tush push, but they said, oh, actually, forward progress, we're not doing that. And then Sunday night, I think it was St. Brown. I don't actually know which receiver it was. I think it was St. Brown.
Yeah, it was St. Brown.
Got driven backwards 3 yards before he, whether you want to call it a fumble, whether you want to call it a pitch, whatever you want to call it, he was driven back 3 yards. Full forward progress stop. Never once was he in the end zone, and he threw it back to Jared Goff after everyone had stopped playing, and then ran it, and Jared Goff ran into the end zone. And the referees talked for like 3 minutes, and everybody's like, what are we doing here? What is going on? Like, just make a distinction and move on. There's no reason for this to have been a touchdown, especially because there were 2 flags in the field already. They called the offensive pass interference. And then the other thing is that some of these referees, and it dates all the way back. I don't know if you remember this, Joel, but Gene Steratore, Sunday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys. Gene Steratore got a note card out to confirm a measurement on when they used to bring the sticks out. That's a classic one. Gene's Steratore was a showman. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense as to why he got into this NFL rules analyst thing. Gene Steratore had a note card out, put it on there, put it on the line. Yep, that's a first down. We'll move them. Did the whole thing. The referees in the overtime of the Rams game just over-exaggerating their calls as if everyone's there to see the referees. And then again, back to that Lions-Steelers game, after the deliberation for 3 minutes, the dude gets on the mic. It is a touchdown. However, not too fast. However.
And then the whole crowd just erupts. Like, what do you, like, why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Just roll the whole thing out. Just say it. The result of the play was a touchdown on the play. Offensive pass interference. They do that 100,000 times during the season. Results of the play was this. During the play, this happened. We're moving it back. First down, or replay the down. Redo this. Because there's an offensive penalty, this is the end of the game. It's not that hard to do. And when you're going to make a show out of it, 2 things come to mind. One, I'm starting to buy into this whole maybe it is rigged. Right? Maybe it is, because the only reason these refs are getting the airtime that they think they want is because they're the ones who are throwing the penalty flags. That, we can't let the over hit here. We can't let this guy score. We've got this prop bet. We've got that thing, and this is pretty tinfoil hat theory stuff, but it's becoming more and more prevalent when these referees seemingly are like rooting for certain teams, and like 19 penalties against the Falcons, it almost seems as if they tried to do everything they could. Hey, wait, nope, another flag here, everything they could to help the Bucs out, because who knows why. Now, penalties are situational, right? So like the penalties that hit the Bucs hurt more in the situation versus and whatever, but I don't know. It just feels like, especially as we get to the end of the year here, where everything is on such a fine line of like who's in the playoffs, who's out, what seed, what this, what that. It just seems to get worse, and I don't think it's going to get better. I think we're going to be talking about this through the entire playoffs. When in round 1 there's 6 games to watch. There's only 6 games, so your best 6 crews are going to be out there, and then we're like, okay, well, we get to watch every single game this from here on out, starting round 1 of the playoffs. It's just gonna be more obvious and more in our face.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll just give one more example from the Rams and Seahawks game. On that 2-point conversion where it was a backwards pass, the whistle blow before the whistle 100%. The whistle 100% blew before he picked up the ball. 100%. So I just don't understand, like, why couldn't the NFL look at that replay and say the whistle blew before he picked it up? It's not a successful 2-point conversion. The whistle blew before. I don't understand why they can't do that. Right. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Worst case scenario, replay the down. Hey, the whistle blew while the ball was loose on a loose ball play. It was a backwards pass. The ball was loose. The whistle blew. No one had possession. Ball was given back to the last team that had possession. Replay the down. Got it. Yep. Do it again. Just try again.
Man, when it comes to bad officiating, I will never forget the Rams and Saints.
Oh, AFC.
I think it was NFC Championship game. NFC Championship game.
Yep.
That was bad. That was the worst missed call I've ever seen. That was bad. I mean, that was so clear and obvious.
That changed the rule.
It did.
That missed call right there is what got us the pass interference replay. That only lasted 1 year because the system what they had was terrible, because they never overturned their own calls. That's the problem, is that the referees are standing by their call, and they're never, well, I made the call and we're not going to overturn it, so I'm right. I was right the whole time. Hey, look at me.
Another example of why the NFL needs to step in.
Well, I think because of that, because this whole, I think it was like 5% of challenged pass interference calls got overturned, and 5% maybe too high. And because of that, I think that's when we got the replay assistant, and we got this whole expedited thing, and we have more eyes on these games. And they're trying not to overstep it and let the game happen, because if every single play they're like, well, you didn't throw a flag on this and we have a holding penalty, or you didn't throw a flag on this and we've got roughing the passer, or whatever it is, we're just going to get the game's going to slow down, and they're going to lose fans. They're going to lose continuity. The game will just lose its step. But there has to be a middle ground, and I think they're trying to find it. I truly think they're trying to find it. It just needs to hurry up.
Yeah, and when I say like the NFL needs to step in on a bad like missed call, I'm not talking about like defensive holding or offensive holding, whatever, like calls like that, like regular penalties. I'm talking about like obvious calls that get missed, like when the whistle blew on the 2-point conversion. That's an obvious. The whistle blew. If you watch that video, it's obvious. The Rams and Saints no call on the pass interference, obvious. Just on the obvious calls, just step in. Like, you don't need to do it on every single play. I understand there's going to be things that you miss, like holding or whatever. But on an obvious pass interference call, step in. On an obvious call that the referees got wrong, step in. You don't have to do it every single time. Just when it really matters. Like on an obvious call that would change the game.
Right.
Just step in. Just step in.
Right. Sorry to derail the whole conversation with referee talk, but it's becoming more and more obvious and more prevalent in our face right now. And I just felt like it was something to talk about, something pertinent to talk about as we move in here.
Yeah, I agree. No problem at all. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about here is a question that I've wondered for a long time, actually. And the question is, why do NFL fans boo their own team? It doesn't make any sense to me. I just think booing your own team is so stupid. I think it's so stupid. But what do you think, Will? Why do NFL fans boo their own team?
I can agree with what you said to start with there. I think booing your own team is incredibly stupid. And I think the most obvious one, well, I don't even know what the most obvious one is right now. If anybody playing the Texans, they're going to get booed at home because the Texans just shuts down offenses. And it's a way for it's just what's happening. That's why you don't see Texans on national television right now, because they're just shut down offenses, and then they can't play offense. And it's like, well, this is just the most boring game ever. Yeah, another 13-10 game, great, they won again, cool. But it's so stupid to call yourself a fan of this team and just to sit there and boo. Are you trying to say that you can do a better job, that you can coach a better, I can make better play calls?
Exactly.
Is that what you're trying to say? You're booing the decisions being made? Nobody comes to your job and sits there, and when you misspell the word "the," or you type "but" with 2 T's instead of 1 T on accident, or you send an email out wrong, or you make the wrong order, nobody sits there and goes, "So get him out of here, fire him." Nobody does that to you. Not that it's this. It is actually the same thing. It is quite the same thing. The difference may just be dollars, right? Think about it like a lawyer, though. You lose your case and your client just sits there and boos you in the courtroom. Could you imagine? McDonald's messes up your order and you just sit there at the drive-thru and you just boo them until they get it right, I guess. That behavior is only allowed in the sports world. You're not booing any other professional ever. And I just think it's so childish and so stupid. It's just such a stupid thing. You paid money to be there. Quit booing. I think, it was Thursday night, Seahawks Rams. Early in that game, the Rams were up, and they are booing the Seahawks. The boo birds are out loud in Seattle. And then, little by little, chunk by chunk, guess who ended up winning that game? The Seahawks. And all those people who booed were cheering loud at the end of that game. Like, you guys are such fake fans. Such fake garbage.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect example. I was actually going to bring that up. That's a perfect example of why I think booing is stupid. Because sometimes when you play an NFL game, you just don't play well for the first half, or you don't play well for the first 3 quarters, or you don't play well until 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Sometimes that's just what happens in an NFL game.
Broncos.
What is booing going to do? Is booing going to make the team play better? No, it's not going to make them play better.
Booing is not going to get coach fired. It does nothing. Doesn't
Right.
even make you
If
feel
you're
better. Like, you're not even doing it to feel better.
exactly. If you're anything like me, like if you have a similar personality to me, if you boo me, if I'm not doing well, I'm going to do worse. Like
Yeah.
as a fan, you have a responsibility to that team that you say you're a fan of to do everything in your
Yes.
power to help that team win. Booing does not do that. And the reason why I hate booing is one of the many reasons why I dislike Philadelphia Eagles fans. Because I have never heard fans boo their team as much as Philadelphia Eagles fans boo the Eagles. And I don't even understand why they boo. What do they have to boo about? They just won the Super Bowl last year. They've been leading the division all season long. They're in the playoffs. They've won double-digit games. What do you have to boo about? I understand your offense hasn't been great. I understand that. You say you're a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, but every single time I watch the Eagles play when they're at home, they get booed. Almost every single time.
Yeah, winning or losing. You're absolutely right. They'll be up by 10, and they won't go for it on a 4th and 5, and all of a sudden, Nick Sirianni's the worst. He didn't go for it on 4th down. Boo this guy.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid. Booing is so stupid. I understand it. Like, I get it. It needs to go both ways. Like, as a fan, you have a responsibility to help your team win and do everything in your power to create an environment that helps your team win. But the team has a responsibility to you as a fan to put a winning team on the field. I get that. I understand that. So like part of me understands if your team has been terrible, like the Jets, like they haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. Part of me gets it. If that's the situation, part of me gets it. But at the same time, it's still dumb. It's still stupid. If you don't want to be a Jets fan, don't be a Jets fan.
Or if you want to be a Jets fan, but don't support what they're doing, quit supporting them financially by going to the games.
Exactly.
Quit giving them your money. I call it a lot with and this happened a lot. I mean, not to get political here, so sorry in advance. But this whole Bud Light thing with Dylan Mulvaney, people didn't like it, and so guess what? They quit buying Bud Light, and yet what did Bud Light do? They switched spokespeople. Now they've got Shane Gillis. It's just a thing. If you don't like it, if you don't like what your organization is doing, quit quit buying their stuff, quit doing their things. The financial burden that these people are going to take by the bad coach or the bad whatever that you think they have, it's going to hurt more than sitting in that stadium and booing. Because guess what? They've already got your money. You're already wearing the Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey. Oh, wait, that didn't work out either. It's just this whole thing. Like, they've already got your money. You're just wasting your own energy at that point. If you don't want to support the team, quit supporting the team. Booing does nothing.
Yeah, I just think that just booing is just the dumbest thing that you can do as an NFL fan. And if you do it, I don't think you're really a true fan of that team. I don't. Because if you were really a true fan, you would not boo your own team. You would help them in any way that you can as a fan to win that game and to get back in the game when they're not playing well. You would not boo them. If you boo, you are not a true fan. I'll just leave it at that. Do you have anything else to add, Will?
I don't think I do. I don't think I can
Okay.
say it better. All right, let me hit you back with a question about being a fan here.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're not moving on yet. Oh, no, we're dragging our feet on this one. Let me hit you back with the thing here. Let me pull the text up because I want to read it verbatim. Okay, so let's back up. This is a multi-parter here. I am an incredibly superstitious fan. I try to do the same thing every game day that we win, and I do mean we. I'm part of it. Just like we talked about booing, I'm part of it now. You sent me a text. So on Thursday, biggest game of the season so far for the Rams. I'm doing everything I can. I have my Rams cup that I've used on this show. I only drink liquid out of that Rams cup on game day. And I wear I'm not wearing it right now, but on game days, I wear my Rams hat and I only drink liquid out of my Rams cup. I have like 9 different liquids in that dang cup on Thursday. I think I overdid it. That's why they lost. I'm going to scale it back, try to find the sweet spot. They lost. I need to re-hone in my superstition. But you texted me on Sunday and said, wait, I find it now.
Oh, I know I can tell you exactly what I said.
There it is. I truly believe I am a cursed sports fan. Or I truly believe I am cursed as a sports fan. What makes you say that? Let's start there. Let's just start with what makes you say that.
Okay. So I'll go back to when I was a Cowboys fan. And I know that the Cowboys not making the NFC Championship game started before I was actually a fan. However, I have been begging Jerry Jones to get a dominant interior player for years. And 2 weeks after I stopped being a Cowboys fan is the only time Jerry Jones decided to get a dominant interior defensive player. 2 weeks
All right,
after.
checks out.
Okay. I decided to be a Bucs fan, and their record when I became a Bucs fan had nothing to do with becoming a Bucs fan. But they were 6-2 at one point, and ever since I became a Bucs fan, their season has gone down the tank. Okay? Now, there's more to this. My secondary team, because of my wife, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We started dating in 2017, so that's when they became my secondary team. Guess when the last time the Steelers won a playoff game was? That very season.
So, all right.
That was the last time they won a playoff game. Any sports team that is associated with me at all will never win anything. The Oregon Ducks, and Will, I got to apologize to you because you're a Ducks fan, and Avery because he's a Ducks fan. They've been to the championship game twice since I've been a fan, lost both of them. And they haven't come close to going back to it since.
Yep.
Like last year in the college football playoff, got absolutely wrecked by Ohio State in that game.
Oh, they got
destroyed
by Ohio State.
And here's another thing too. Not only am I cursed as a sports fan, but if I watch the game, the cursing goes up to the next level. I watched that game. Terrible. No, I'm not kidding. The Bucs game, I was at church for the first part of that, for the first hour of that Bucs game on Sunday. As soon as I look at the score, like I didn't look at the score one time when I was at church for that hour. As soon as I look at the score, it's 10-3, so Bucs are winning. As soon as I turn it on, like as soon as I leave church, it's on my phone while I'm driving home. As soon as I turn it on, the Buccaneers start sucking. The entire rest of the game that I'm watching, they sucked. And they were winning before that. I'm not kidding you. Like when I say I truly believe I am cursed as a sports fan, I truly, truly believe that I am cursed as a sports fan. No team that I've ever been a fan of has won a championship, and no team that I'm ever going to be a fan of will ever win a championship. That's just how it is. So the Cowboys are free now. Like I wasn't sure, honestly, if it was me or you, Will, but now I know that it's me. Because the Bucs are just tanking, and the Rams are probably going to win the Super Bowl. So it just confirmed that it was me. Okay.
All right. I loud and clear understood. So let me pose this question to the 7 people on the internet that are actually going to see this. Joel and I, very different kind of, and I would very much call what Joel just said, everything he said, is a sports fan superstition, right? Like I have a ritual every game day. This is what I do. Joe has a firm superstitious belief, whether it's true or not, about his fandom with sports teams. I want to hear from the people on the internet. What are some of your superstitions, your game day rituals? I want to hear from people. I want to see what kind of cooked beliefs we have out there. Like I believe, and I got to figure out how to fix this now. I believe that if I don't drink every liquid on game day out of my Rams cup, they will lose. Because the one game since getting it, the one game I didn't do it was the Panthers game. And guess what? They've lost to the Panthers. Every other game, they're like, oh, yep, got it. And then just figuring it out. It's got to be something to do with my hat. It's got to be it. But, yeah, I want to hear the people from the people. What kind of fan superstitions and fan game day rituals do we have that if we don't do, our team's going to lose?
I like that. That's a good question. All right. Let's move on to our last segment of the show here. And this is a Christmas-related segment. So it's a combination of fantasy football and Christmas. So what we're doing is we're going to give you guys our Week 17 starts and sits, but we're calling it our fantasy football naughty and nice list. So obviously on your nice list, it's your starts, and on your naughty list, it's your sits. So, Will, you can go first. Give us your fantasy football week 17 naughty and nice list.
So week 17 on the nice list for starts. This one's incredibly obvious. Well, we're going to start with Devon Achane. He is, and again, it's way too obvious. If you have him, you're starting him. Of course you are. But he is a Dolphins player, and so there is just absolute hesitation because we've got Quinn Ewers back there now. But Devon Achane has been in an absolute tear. He's third in overall fantasy points. The last 2 weeks, he's put up 18.7 and 18 points, and you can go back to their bye week. His lowest point total overall since week 13 has been 17.5 points. He's active in the passing game. He's active in the run game. He is the Dolphins' CMC. You've got CMC in on the West Coast. You've got Devon Achane on the East Coast. That Dolphins team, they're in Tampa Bay this week, they're home versus Tampa Bay this weekend. Sorry to say this out loud, Joel, but Tampa Bay's defense has been suspect recently. I suspect Devon Achane to blow up this weekend. Even more so, he's going to win people fantasy championships this weekend. I just hope you're not going up against him. My second guy, you want me to keep going or do you want to switch off here?
We can switch. We can switch.
Sure.
Give me an opportunity to say some guys if just in case you have the same guy. So
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So my first guy is Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, yeah.
He's going up against the Jets this week, and the Jets are 28th in rushing yards allowed. They allow an average of 133.7 rushing yards per game. And Travion Henderson went down with a head injury last game, and after he went out with that injury, they just relied on Stevenson to finish that game for them. So I don't know if Henderson's going to play, but even if he does, I think Stevenson will still get a lot of carries and a lot of usage in this game because the Jets are just so bad against the run that I think that that's going to be their game plan. They're going to just run the ball, and that's how they're going to win. They probably don't even have to throw one pass, honestly. That's how bad the Jets are against the run. That they could probably just run the entire game, and they would win that game. So Ramondre Stevenson is absolutely on my Week 17 nice list for fantasy football because Henderson may not be playing, and the Jets are just really bad against the run.
They're trying to get two-time Pro Bowler Drake May an MVP. They're going to throw the ball.
Okay, fine. But I'm just saying they don't have to if they don't want to.
They don't have to. They don't have to. They don't have to.
Right.
My second person on my nice list over here, and this is gonna be a bit out there. I don't think it's gonna be well received, but I'm gonna go with Ted McMillan. They're playing the Seahawks this week, and that's a rough draw. That is a rough draw. But they're at home playing the Seahawks, and if you think about the teams the Panthers have beat, they are beating teams that they should not be beating. They beat the Rams. They beat
Packers.
Let me pull this up. They beat the Packers. That was the other one. Thank you. They've beat teams that they should not be beating. And Bryce Young has finished the season way better than he has started the season. Ted McMillan and Bryce Young together have put together quite the experience toward the end of the season. They've had 2 games since their bye against New Orleans, and because their bye was in Week 14. He didn't do great against New Orleans. The Saints the Saints have just been an absolute terror the last 3 weeks. They've decided, Tyler Shuck decided, hey, I'm going to win Rookie of the Year. I'm just going to do it. So buckle up. I'm just going to win it in 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago against New Orleans, he only got 4 targets, but they were down. Well, they weren't down. They were down, but they just weren't able to throw the ball well. But last week against Tampa Bay, he got 10 targets, 6 receptions, 73 yards, and a touchdown. I expect this game against Seattle to be a tough one. They're going to have to throw the ball. They're at home, which is a huge help. Defense does travel, which I'm going to end up saying again later. But I think that the overall advantage for height and skill, I don't want to call it skill advantage. I don't think Ted McMillan's better than the Seattle defense. But for a rookie, he's playing out of his mind at the end of the season. He is on my start list, which, again, I think is not going to be well received because they're going to be the Seahawks. It's a overall bad matchup. But there's a lot of height on that Seahawks team, and he's just a piece of it. Excuse me, a lot of height on the Panthers team. Yeah, a lot of height on the Panthers team. I heard it after I said it.
All right. My next guy, Browns tight end Harold Fannin Jr. is on my Week 17 fantasy football nice list because he's going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers are one of 2 teams this season that have allowed over 1,000 yards and 10 receiving touchdowns to tight ends this year. one of two teams. In 3 of his last 4 games, Harold Fannin Jr. has scored a touchdown, and in 2 of his last 3 games, he's had double-digit targets. So I think the connection between Shedeur Sanders and Harold Fannin Jr. is really good, and it's only getting better. And the Steelers are just not good against tight ends, and so that's why I have Harold Fannin Jr. on my nice list in Week 17. And he's probably a guy that you picked up on waivers. If you have him on your team, you probably didn't draft him. You probably picked him up on waivers. And so there's a possibility that you have another tight end who is also a really solid option. So if you can find a way to start both of those tight ends, start both of them. Start one at tight end and start one in flex. You have to start Harold Fannin Jr. against the Steelers because they're just really bad against tight ends this year. All right, Will, give us your number 3.
My number 3, same game actually, but I'm opposite side here. I've got Steelers running back Kenneth Gainwell.
He's balling right now.
He is absolutely balling right now. He's hitting about 50% of the snap share. So between him and Jalen Warren, he's hitting about 50%. Warren's hitting about 50%. Warren's big breakout was two different 45-yard touchdown runs. I don't think you can expect that against this Browns defense. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be needing extra help, extra throw support, and that's where Kenneth Gainwell comes in. Gainwell is their receiving target. If you're in a full-point PPR league or even a half-point PPR league, if it is a non-PPR league, I would not recommend starting Gainwell. I wouldn't do it. But if you are in a full-point or half-point PPR league, over the last 3 games, he's had 6 receptions on 7 targets. Against Baltimore, 7 for 7 against Miami, and then last week versus Detroit, he had 5 receptions for 7 on 7 targets, one of them being that awesome touchdown. I mean,
that was insane.
That's arguably play of the year. Like that was huge.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and so he's getting the targets, he's getting the snap share. He doesn't get as many rushes, 9 attempts, but even in his rushing attempts, he's still making the most of them. 9 attempts, he got 50 yards out of it last week against Detroit. Against Miami, he had 13 rushing attempts, got 80 yards. He's just not in their package at goal line and end zone, so he doesn't get a lot of rushing touchdowns. But if you're in a full point PPR league or even a half point PPR league, his value in the receiving game is too high not to play, especially against this Browns team. Myles Garrett is looking to break the sack record this week against Aaron Rodgers, and so Aaron is going to have to get the ball in his hand quick, and especially because DK Metcalf just got suspended for 2 games.
No DK Metcalf.
DK's out, and so they're going to need someone. And Gainwell looks like a receiver. He's just too short.
All right, cool. So, Will, since you only have 2 guys on your naughty list, I'm going to give my last guy on my nice list, and then I'll just go straight into my first naughty list guy. That way I go, you go, I go, you guy, I go. So, okay. So my last guy on my nice list is Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
He's on the nice list for fantasy football this week. That guy is balling right now. I said that I don't believe in the Jags last week, and they shut me up real quick. They did. Trevor Lawrence hasn't thrown an interception in the last 4 weeks. The Jags offense put up 34 points on the Broncos defense, which you could make an argument is the best defense in the NFL. That's an easy argument to make. The Colts, who he's going against, just allowed Brock Purdy to throw for 295 yards and 5 touchdown passes. So Trevor Lawrence is going up against the Colts, and the Jags just made the playoffs last week, but the Jags are still playing for something here. Even though they've already made the playoffs, they're still playing for something because they still have a shot to get the 1 seed in the AFC. There's a lot of things that need to happen still, but they still have a shot at it. And so until they don't have a shot anymore, the Jags are going to be giving it their best shot. And we're seeing the best version of the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence right now. Okay, so from the first guy on my fantasy football naughty list for week 17, I have Panthers running back Rico Dowdle. And the reason for that is because they're playing the Seahawks. So it's kind of like the opposite of what Will's doing here. But they're playing the Seahawks, who are the 3rd best rush defense in the NFL. They only allow 94.1 rushing yards per game. And Dowdle has had a total of 42 fantasy points over the last 4 games, which is an average of 10.5. So it's already not great. And now he's going up against the 3rd best running defense in the NFL. I don't really see a way for Rico Dowdle to get a lot of fantasy points in this game, especially because he does split time with Hubbard. And so, maybe one game he gets 18 carries, the next game he gets 8 carries. There's just not really consistency there. They kind of just ride whoever has the hot hand. And maybe it is Dowdle, but I don't think really in this game that either one of these guys are really going to have a huge game because that Seattle defense is very tough to go against. All right, who's your first guy on your naughty list, Will?
This is a guy we talked about. I mean, you talked about kind of briefly. I'm going to go with 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
He is on my naughty list. I think people are going to buy in too much to but he just did so good against Indianapolis. Yep, he did. He sure did. The last 2 weeks, he went up against Tennessee and Indianapolis. He's played pretty soft defenses the last couple of weeks. Indianapolis has a bunch of people out. Tennessee sucks. Nothing else to say about them. He's been hurt a lot of the season, but this week they go up against the Bears, and they're home. They're home against the Bears, yes, but it is a completely different team. This Bears team has had to prove something, maybe to me specifically, but to a lot of people. I cannot stand this Bears team, but they're good, right? Like, there's nothing else to say about this defense. Brock Purdy, don't get sucked into it based on his last 2 weeks' performance. People are going to see they had him sitting last week, I'm sure, and then they're going to, I got to play him this week. I think he's in to be humbled a bit. This team is not. I don't think they're going to be ready for this Bears team the way they should be, especially because both Bears and Niners have something to play for. They both can get the 1 seed. They both can get a first-round bye, home field advantage to the playoffs. I think the Bears are going to come out and smack them in the mouth, unfortunately. Although, kind of fortunately, I'm really torn on this one. I hate the Bears, but I need the Niners to lose. So, I don't know how to feel about this game.
Well, Bears fans, if you're listening, soak that in, because that's probably the nicest will ever be to the Bears right there. So soak that in while you can.
Absolutely. Bear didn't lie.
Right.
That's the best you're going to get from me.
All right. So my second guy on my naughty list is Eagles wide receiver Devontae Smith. He is 100% on the naughty list for Week 17 fantasy football because they're going up against the Bills. And the Bills are the second best team against the pass this season. They allow just 167.1 passing yards per game. What they lack in the ability to defend the run, they make up for in the ability to defend the pass. And so this is the perfect game for what the Eagles want to do. The Eagles want to run the ball, right? That's what they want to do. That's their identity. They want to run the ball. The Bills are really bad at defending the run, but they're really good at defending the pass. And we've seen throughout this season that Jalen Hurts hasn't been very good lately at throwing the ball. He just hasn't been very good. And so this is the perfect game for the Eagles to execute the game plan that they want to execute going up against this defense. And I don't think that involves Devontae Smith very much in this game because they know that the Bills have a bad run defense, and so they're just going to run the ball as much as possible.
Yeah. For my last naughty list entity here, I've got the entire roster of the Kansas City Chiefs. Joel, you called it pre-show. The literal entire roster, start to finish. Start with Chris Oladokin, I think. I don't know.
Just say the third string quarterback.
Well, he's their starter
keep it
now. So that guy, right? You had 2 guys tear their ACLs in back-to-back weeks, and then they lost horribly to the Titans. Just abysmal loss. And then you say, yeah, but Mahomes is out and their backup is out. Listen, their defense, how many defensive starters do they have out? I don't think it was that many, if any. I'm sure somebody's hurt. Yeah. I'm sure I'm going to get roasted for that. But let me tell you, not that many, not enough to lose 30-something to 9. And so if they're at home versus Denver this week. If you have anybody in the Kansas City Chiefs, I would not play them. Denver just got bodied by the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. The one thing they want to do right now is secure the AFC West. They don't have it locked up yet because the Chargers keep winning. They need another in-conference, in-division win against the Chiefs. They're looking to put the Chiefs in the dirt, all the way through the dirt. So if you have anybody on the Chiefs roster, I would just go ahead and sit them this week.
I agree. I have Travis Kelce as my last guy on my sit list, on my naughty list, because of that. Like they've got their third string quarterback in. They were terrible against the Titans. And now they're going against the Broncos defense, which is arguably the best defense in the NFL, who just had a really bad game against the Jaguars. So not only are the Broncos going to be pissed off, but they're going against a third string quarterback. They're going to absolutely wreck the Chiefs offense. And you cannot start Travis Kelce against the Broncos this week because of that.
It's also the night game on Christmas. Like, this Denver team they just got destroyed by the Jaguars. They're going to show up so big. It's Christmas. We want to be home with our families. We have to be out here in the middle of Kansas City, Missouri for now. It's just, I fear for the Chiefs this week. Christmas night. If you're a Chiefs fan on Christmas night, go ahead and spend time doing something else. This is a game you don't have to watch.
Although the Broncos are really good at finding a way to keep it a one-score game when they win.
Yeah, you're right.
They're really good at that.
It's going to be a field goal game, and it's going to be it'll be 3-2 final score. No team wants to win.
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
Would it, Joel? Would that be awesome?
Yes.
I think I
It
disagree.
would be. Actually, even better. Let's just get a 2-2 tie.
A 2-2 tie.
Yeah.
So that starts at 8:15 their time. A 2-2 tie means we're playing 70 minutes of football, 60 regulation, 10 overtime. That wouldn't get over until the 26th over there. Like, that's going until Friday. Yeah. That would be miserable for those fans.
100%. All right. Well, Will, do you have anything to add before we wrap it up here?
Hey, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah. That just ended. I don't know what day this episode's going to come out. It's just two of us, so I don't know when you're going to get it recorded. But if it's pre-Christmas, Merry Christmas. If it's after Christmas, just remember that we did just have Christmas, right? Maybe just be a little bit nice, all right? Just be a little bit nice. That's all I ask.
Eagles fans. Also,
if you're in a parking lot, learn how to drive. Everybody is just waiting for you to move your ass. Get out of the way. Sorry, Dwayne. I just pretty passionate about this one. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone. And as always, guys, don't forget to keep your jingle balls played with. We'll see you next time.
Bye now, y'all. Also, Mark Davis's haircut still sucks.